First, I offer my condolences to the victims, to the families of those martyred in this late night cowardly attack by Indian forces, to the men, women, and children who have died. Let us be absolutely clear. This was an unprovoked, deliberate act of war by India, who launched missile, drone, and air strikes into Pakistani territory. Over the past 2 weeks, Pakistan has been on the receiving end of belligerent threats by the Indian government. We have time and time again insisted that our hands are clean and offered an impartial inquiry to any and all accusations. Unfortunately, India rebuffed those offers by Pakistan and have chosen instead to target innocent civilians. Pakistan reserves the right under the UN Charter to respond.
The Prime Minister of your country and the armed forces have been authorised to undertake corresponding actions. What should we expect? What do you expect your country or military to do in response?
So far, the Pakistan armed forces have acted bravely and with precision.
At Airwallex, we are shifting perspective on global finance.
Choosing and through whichever means it chooses to do so. I would not second guess the government of the armed forces or pre-guess the government of the armed forces decision at this time.
In the past few hours, we've heard from Masood Azhar, leader of Jaish-e-Mohammed, an international terrorist as designated by the UN Security Council. Jaish-e-Mohammed, banned by your country, banned by the UN and by many other nations as well. He says family members and at least 4 of his aides, he says, these are his quotes, have been killed in the Indian strikes. It surely will serve as vindication from India's perspective that it was targeting terrorist elements that were in your country.
This is absolute fiction. It has been rebuffed. Fake news. Absolute. I'm correcting your quote that originates from fake news circulating on Pakistani social media and has been rebuffed by local authoritative journalists who are impartial and have a long history on this matter. India has manufactured a lie of a baseless accusation against Pakistan. If there was any truth to this lie, why did they not agree to Pakistan's offer for an impartial investigation? Why did they not wait for the international journalists who were already visiting these alleged sites to come up with their response? The truth is that India has manufactured this lie to target Indian civilians. It is not 2001. It is not 2003. Not all Muslims are terrorists, and the world is sick and tired of the way in which this accusation is bandied about to justify aggressive actions, to justify illegal actions, to justify imperialistic actions. And Pakistan, for one, will not kneel to such pressure.
Do you think there is the potential for that independent investigation as you had called for, or do you think that is now passed?
Pakistan has repeatedly called and continues to call for an impartial inquiry. We do so because our hands are clean. We were not involved in this attack. We condemned this attack from the outset. If India was certain of Pakistan's involvement, if India had nothing to hide, then they too would have agreed in the past to our call for an independent inquiry. And I reiterate today in your program Pakistan's readiness for a neutral, impartial inquiry into the terrorist attack that took place in Indian-occupied Kashmir.
Donald Trump has responded. The international community is responding. We've heard reaction from the Turks, for example. Do you welcome international support? And if so, who's best placed to try and de-escalate the situation?
I think India has once again endangered the peace, not only in South Asia, but in the region and of the world. And I think there is a role for the international community to play to ensure that this situation doesn't keep festering itself. I think the first step absolutely would be to engage with India and ensure that sanity prevails. But we have to go beyond that. We have to reiterate or join in in Pakistan's call for an impartial, neutral inquiry that can form the basis not only to come to the roots of this terrorist attack, but any future terrorist attack? Or do Pakistan and India want non-state actors, want terrorists to be those who decide the fate of the populations of both our countries? I think that Pakistan's call for an impartial inquiry is a sound one, is a reasonable one. It forms a pathway not only for us to come out of this immediate crisis, but also a roadmap to come out of future such terrorist attacks. We cannot normalize this practice that has become increasingly practiced in international affairs, that without any proof, without any
Bilawal Bhutto,
evidence, countries conduct illegal
I'm sorry to
strikes.
stop you, but we are at the top of the hour. We're about to run
Sure.
out of time, but thank you for your time. You're watching Sky News.